The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jago Castro. Israel might have taken hostage the two Filipinos who are still unaccounted for, says the Foreign Affairs Department. Speaking with 1PHS sa Totoo Lang, DFA Undersecretary Ed De Vega said they are still trying to locate two Filipinos in Israel. He added that reports of Hamas releasing hostages give them hope that the two Filipinos might surface soon.
Look at it na hindi pa sila ma-declare na namatay. May apat tayong confirmed dead, hindi 6, no, hindi dumami. Tsaka actually hindi natin alam talaga kung nasaan sila, pero we can consider na maaaring kasama sila sa mga bihag ngayon. Kaya itong pagpapakawala ng mga bihag, apat na yung hostages na pinakawalan na gives us hope, no? Na kung kasama man yung ating dalawang kababayan, ay buhay pa sila at maaring makamit nila yung kalayaan.
Meanwhile, 136 Filipinos are still awaiting evacuation from the Gaza Strip to Egypt as the Rafah border remains closed. De Vera said they're hoping that the border will be opened within the week. But he also clarified that only a small number of the stranded Filipinos are OFWs wanting to return to the Philippines.
May clarify yung 136 Filipino citizens. Hindi yan yung pareho sa mga OFW natin na nanggaling sa Pilipinas. Only a few of the citizens are ganun, no? Karamihan diyan mga anak ng Filipina with a Palestinian spouse. Minsan apo ng Pilipina. So 1/4 Filipino lang yun, 3/4 Palestinian yung lahi. So they happen to be Filipino citizens by operation of law.
Palestinian Ambassador to the Philippines, Saleh Mohammed, believes that Israel will not end the war even if Hamas releases hostages. This comes after the United States said it was not time for a ceasefire, as the militant group has yet to release Israeli captives taken into Gaza. For Mohammed, however, the U.S. is only encouraging Israel's further bombardment of the Gaza Strip, where 5,000 have already been killed. The Palestinian ambassador also argues that Israel cannot say that it is only attacking Gaza to go after Hamas, as they are also supposedly targeting the West Bank.
Even if Hamas releases all the hostages, they are not going to stop the war. This is a very vindictive, and revenge mentality they have. It's a genocidal, policies they are committing. Actually, the whole, the agony is that while the whole international community is asking Israel to accept the right to Palestinians refugees to return back to their homelands, Israel now is pushing people out of Gaza. They are pushing people, asking people to leave Gaza to Egypt. They are just like pushing their own problem to make it as an Egyptian problem.
ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro has filed a criminal complaint against former President Rodrigo Duterte before the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office. Castro filed a case for grave threat under the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 over statements made by Duterte against her in an SMNI interview that aired on October 11. In that interview, the former president defended his daughter's confidential funds, going as far as red-tagging members of Congress and mentioning Castro's name when he said, quote, "Gusto kong patayin." In her complaint, Castro said she saw the interview in a Facebook post of SMNI entitled FPRRD, ibinulgar ang plano ni VP Sara sa confidential fund. Castro said that she has become immensely fearful for her life, safety, and security upon hearing the remarks of the former president, whom she said, quote, "called my name multiple times and made grave threats to kill me." The lawmaker is confident that the case will hold up in court as Duterte could no longer hide behind presidential immunity. This is the first criminal case that Duterte will have to face since leaving Malacanang.
Hindi na siya presidente at hindi niya dapat ginagawa ito sa isang kongresista, much more sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating mga mamamayan. Kaya it has to stop. Kaya sinabi nga natin, tigilan na ni dating Presidente Duterte yung mga pagbabanta at yung mga pagpatay.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The Comelec records more election-related violence as the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections draw near. In Cotabato City, 2 barangay candidates were shot dead by still unidentified assailants. The victims were identified as Nur Mok Tadin Butukan and Alfar Ayunan, candidates for councilor of Barangay Rosary Heights 12 and Barangay Kalanganan 2. Another fatality in the shooting was a supporter, Faisal Abbas. The 3 were supposedly posting campaign materials when they were killed. The police has summoned 12 individuals for questioning over the case. Meanwhile, in Davao de Oro, a candidate for barangay chairman was also gunned down. He was identified as Alvin Garcia, 32 years old. Garcia was riding a motorcycle with another candidate when he was shot dead by a riding in tandem. The incident is now under investigation. Authorities also found out that Garcia is running against his own aunt. The Commission on Elections has sent show-cause orders to over 700 barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan election candidates over alleged illegal campaigning. The poll body is seeking explanations for the candidates' involvement in unlawful campaigns. Meanwhile, Comelec has filed disqualification cases against 181 candidates for premature campaigning. The body has also approved a resolution suspending the proclamation of winning candidates with pending disqualification cases. The Supreme Court has ruled that Comelec has no power to remove privately owned campaign materials put up in private properties. This stems from a case filed by St. Anthony College in Rojas City after Comelec took down their posters for former presidential candidate and Vice President Leni Robredo during the 2022 elections. The court held that the poll body can only monitor campaign materials of parties and candidates, while private individuals are not within its jurisdiction. And the Comelec has opened its online precinct finder ahead of the barangay and SK elections on Monday. You may now access precinctfinder.comelec.gov.ph to find your assigned polling place and precinct number. Just input your full name, date of birth, and date of registration on the website to get your polling information. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 11:15 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News.